I'm Sue Elliott.
And I'm Ed Holen. Welcome to this final edition of the 2014 Olympia Insider. And you notice Sue's smiling, so this must have been a great legislative session.
Well, you know, initially when the session was going to begin, I wasn't very optimistic that we would have very much because it was a supplemental session. Everybody was saying we didn't have much money. And quite frankly, Ed, it was fantastic. It's one of the best sessions that I've seen in my 25 years here.
What are some of the highlights?
Well, there were several highlights. Senator Hill had a bill, 6387, and what it did is it was a couple things. It had the Individual Family Support Program, which is a state-only program, and it puts it to a Medicaid waiver, which means we'll get an additional 50% match on it and then be able to serve more people, about 4,000 more people. And then Representative Green had a bill, the Community First Choice option, which will provide some additional services and additional match for our state.
Well, you know, when you think about it, to serve another 4,000 to 5,000
Right.
people who today don't have services is a very, very big step in our effort and our crusade to serve people who are on the no paid services caseload.
And then in addition, Ed, the community residential providers are going to get a 30 cents an hour increase for their direct care workers, which is sorely needed.
In addition, there were bills during the session that were passed that were kind of critically important. For example, there was a bill that if somebody provided respite care under 300 hours a year, they would not be required to take the more extensive training. There was a bill that was passed that would support parents who themselves have developmental disabilities and get involved in the dependency process, some additional supports for those parents.
And then another bill that I think is really critical is that paraeducators in our state that support students in special education, there's no required training. And this bill is going to at least have a floor of developing standards that will then go back to the legislature next session and see what it would cost to implement those standards across the state.
You know, we often think that the DD system in our state is a very fragile system, but I have to admit that I have a lot of hope that with the bills that were passed and the budget that was passed this session really does give us some strength to move forward to address the critical needs that face individuals and their families in our state.
And you know, Ed, we couldn't have done that without you. Because of your phone calls, your emails, you're coming down here and talking with your legislators, it really made a difference. I think the legislators have heard about the needs of the unserved people over the years. Mm-hmm. It started when you all did the waiting game booklet.
That was almost 10 years ago,
Right.
So it really does pay off to stick with it,
Right.
stick to it, and become part of this process.
And remember,
Change is made because you showed up. Yay!